All right, so in our last lesson, we learned how to convert decimals to percents, percents to decimals, and fractions, all those three different ways. So today we're going to build on that, and we're going to be learning how to find the part of a number given the percent and the whole. So today we're going to start solving those percent problems. And today is going to be really working with the part. So that's really important. There's going to be three different kinds of, well, we'll talk about that. So we'll get there. So let's just remember back to our last lesson when we learned how to convert percents to decimals. Okay, we move that decimal 2 places to the left. Okay, so in the number 25%, that decimal comes after that 5. So we move it 2 places to the left, that becomes 0.25 or 0.25. Okay, then we do the same thing with the 75%. And you can pause the video and try this on your own and then check your answers, since we should all know how to do this. Okay, so we should have those as decimals. We need that skill in order to do today's lesson, which is why we just quickly reviewed it. So the percent equation. So the way that we solve percent problems, okay, there's a percent which we have to convert into a decimal, and we multiply that times the whole, okay, which equals the part. So today we're solving for the part. Other days this week we're going to learn how to solve for the whole, and a different day we're going to learn how to solve for the percent, but today we're really just dealing with that part, and it's basically just doing this equation. And we've done equations, guys. We've done formulas for finding area. Same idea. Okay, so we make the percent a decimal and we multiply it by the whole. All right, so those steps for solving a percent problem: we write the percent as a decimal, and then we multiply by the whole, which is the number that's given. Okay, and this will make more sense when we get down to like an example. Just big thing to remember, of that word of means multiply. So if I ask you for 12% of 20, I want you to make that 12% into a decimal and then multiply it by 20. Okay, because the whole number is 20 and we want 12% of that number, so we make it a decimal and we multiply. Okay, and that's really all we're going to be doing today. The percent times the whole, so that percent, when we make that into a decimal, times the whole equals the part. Okay, and we're really just focusing on that part today. So we have 25% of 40 is what number? Okay, so that what number is what we're missing, that's the part. And we have 25% of 40. So the very first thing we're going to do is make 25% into a decimal, which is 0.25. And we're going to multiply that times our whole number, which is 40, in order to get our part, in order to get the number that is equivalent to 25% of 40. So when we do that, we are going to stack them up to do our multiplication. All right, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 4 is 20. Done with that 5, moving on over to that 2, we add that placeholder. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 4 is 8. Add those together. We get 10. Our decimal place in our problem, there's 1, 2. There's none in the number 40, so we go 1, 2. This answer is 10.00, which is just 10. Okay, so 25% of the number 40 is 10. Because that's like 1/4. 25% is equivalent to 1/4, and 1/4 of 40 is 10. Okay. If at this point you feel comfortable doing these examples on your own, pause the video, and I want you to try them out. If you still need a couple more examples of me teaching how to do it, then just keep watching with the video until you feel comfortable to pause it and try some of these on your own. All right, so we have 15%. We put that decimal in, move it over twice. We have 0.15 times 50. I'm going to do this work over here in the margin since I kind of wrote too big over here. So I'll stack them, 50 times 0.15, and it does not matter what number is on top or bottom. Okay, I just like to put the one with the 0 on the top. You can put it on the bottom, it's up to you. I like to always just put the decimal on the bottom. It's my preference. So we do it again, 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 5 is 25. We're moving on over to that 1 because we're done with that 5, adding in our 0 placeholder. 0 times 1 is 0, 1 times 5 is 5. Adding those up together, putting our decimal into our answer, and then in the number 50, this answer is going to be 7.50 or just 7.5. Remember, when there's a 0 at the end of a number, we don't really need it. It's when the 0 is in the middle that we can't just drop it off. Okay, but I would accept 7.5 or 7.50. It's up to you. Number 3, 60% of 150. So we make that into a decimal. We get 0.60 times 150. Remember that word of means multiplication. We're taking that percent and we're multiplying it by the whole number to get what part of that number is, which is equivalent to 60%. Okay, just re-talking through. Now when I stack these numbers, you want to put the one with the most digits on top, just because it's less work. Otherwise you'd have to multiply through 3 numbers instead of just 2. 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 5 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0. Done with that 0, we're moving on over to that 6. So we have to put our placeholder. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 5 is 30. Write our 0, carry our 3. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 3 is 9. Add them all up. 0, 0, 0, 9. Add in our decimal, 1, 2. There's no decimals in 150, so 1, 2. We have 90.00, which is just equivalent to 90. So what this means is that 90 is 60% of the number 150. Okay? And that's really it for this first page. Okay, not too bad. Let's flip it on over and let's look at that back page. Let's just do some word problems, some application problems. So the width of a rectangular room is 80% of its length. Okay, and the length is given. We want to know what is the area of the room. Okay, so if we're given the length and we're told that this length right here is 80% of that, we need to find out what number is 80% of that so that we can multiply them together to find the area. So we're finding 80% of 15, which means we have to make it a decimal, and we're going to do 0.80 times 15. Let's stack them up. It's just a personal preference that I like to put my decimal on the bottom. You can stack them however you'd like. 5 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. Done with that 0, moving on over to that 8, so I put my 0 placeholder. 8 times 5 is 40. Write my 0, carry my 4. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12. 0, 0, 2, 1. Add in my decimal. 1, 2. I have none in the number 15, so I go 1, 2. That number is 12.00 or just 12. Okay, but it didn't ask for what the width of the room is, it asked for the area. So the last step would be to find the area of this room. I'd do base times height, just like we did in our area unit. I would do 15 times 12. I could stack 15 times 12 to solve that, or I could do 15 times, break this 12 into 10 and 2, do 15 times 10 plus 15 times 2. Let's just stack them. I'm adding in no decimals, so it's just 180. So my area is 180. Look at that unit, feet. Here it's area, so it's squared. Final answer. All right. That was just a little bit of an application problem, but same thing. We're finding 80% of a number, and then it just had us take it one step farther to find that area. Last example, a family pays $45 each month for cable television. The cost increases 7%. How many dollars is the increase? So we need to know what is 7% of $45. So we are trying to solve for 7% of $45. Okay, so we make 7% into a decimal. Remember, we move it 2 to the left, fill that empty place with a 0. So this becomes 0.07 times 45. So we stack those up and multiply my 7 all the way through. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 4 is 28, 29, 30, 31. Moving on over to that 0, so I put a 0 placeholder. 0 times 5 is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. Sorry, I should have also crossed off my carry. Add those up. 5, 1, 3, 1, 2. Oops, 1, 2. Put it back into meaning of the problem. How many dollars is the increase? The increase is $3.15. Okay, so that means that the cost increase is $3.15 each month. Okay, so then it asks, what is the new monthly cost? Well, the new monthly cost is not just $3.15. If they originally paid $45 and it increased $3.15, think to yourself, what would we have to do with those two numbers? We'd have to add them together. Now we need to make 45 into a dollar amount so that we can stack our decimals. So we make it 45.00. We line up our decimals and fill in our numbers for that $3.15. We want to try to avoid doing $3.15 plus 45 because what that's doing is it's adding 45 cents. Okay, not $45. So we don't want to do it that way. So let's add these up. Carry down our decimal. 5 plus 3 is 8. 4. The new monthly cost is $48.15. That's it for our lesson today. If you're still confused, go back and rewatch any parts you'd like. Otherwise, just write your quick summary of how we find the part in a percent problem.